morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching from and whenever you're going to tune and whenever you're going to watch these videos. So I want to say hello and believe you're doing great. So on today's episode on emotional intelligence, we are looking at the different emotions that people exhibit depending on the situation. And to take us onto this, we have about 7 basic emotions that people exhibit at every situation at a given time. We have sadness, we have disgust, we have contempt, we have happiness, we have surprise, we have anger, we have fear. So we're just gonna briefly identify what all these emotions mean, and then they are non-verbal cues. So looking at sadness, what do we mean by sadness? What do we mean by sadness, right? What makes someone sad? When is somebody sad? And how do you get to notice that somebody is sad? All right, so sadness results when someone has lost something of value. When you have lost something that is so precious to you, the emotions that is likely to be exhibited at that point is known as sadness. And if you look at the picture, the facial display of sadness is there. So how about disgust, all right? So what happens when somebody is disgusted, or what makes someone to be disgusted, right? Okay, so when a person tends to feel disgust when the rules and regulations of the place he or she finds themselves in has been violated. For example, you're a security person, you work in a company, and then a car comes into park, and in an attempt to direct person to the right place, the person gets angry and then does what he feels he should do and violates the parking rule or law in your company. This is going to result to a disgusting attitude and emotions at that scene. Talking about anger, right? When does someone feel angry? What are the situations that elicit anger in people? All right, so somebody gets angry or exhibits an angry emotions when a way is blocked or in trying to get out of a difficult situation, but whereas it's seemingly difficult. So somebody expresses anger when he feels his way is being blocked, or in attempts to come out of a particular situation that is unfavorable to him or her, there is a blockage on the way. So talking about surprise, when do people turn to express surprise, right? So when something unexpected happens, and you can see the different emotions on the screen. When something unexpected happens, something especially, it could be positive, it could be negative. So you can be like, wow, or what? All right, so these are the situations that can trigger surprise in people as an emotion. So how about contempt? When the people become content, when they feel they are not being cared for, or they don't deserve to be cared for, or they are not worthy of care, they tend to harden their feelings. They wouldn't want to get hurt. So in that case, they're just trying to withdraw and get back to their shelf. And in that situation, we call such an emotion contempt. All right. When people feel fearful, what happens? What makes people fearful? All right. When you don't have knowledge of a thing, or when you are possibly expecting a threat. When you receive a threat, you are likely to experience fear, especially at the workplace, where, for example, I had an experience where my superior comes up in the morning and just during the addressing was like, oh, if you don't do this, this is going to do this. if you don't do this, if you don't meet up your target, this is the consequence. All right. So in that kind of scenario, you know, I was afraid, I was fearful, like, you know, so all of a sudden I started sweating. So sometimes fear can evolve, or fear is elicited when there is or there are threats around. So how about disgust, right? So someone can become disgusted, right? When he or she feels that a rule has been violated. You know, there are some people that are very they are very keen, they are very obsessed with making sure that the standard are observed. They are very they are so keen on making sure that what needs to be done has to be done. In a case where you know, these rules or laws are violated, they tend to feel disgusted. And you can see the facial expression there. Right. So today I just want to close the curtain by saying, look at yourself. At one point or the other, you have experienced these different forms of emotions at different situations. You have exhibited sadness, you have exhibited anger, you have exhibited fear, you have exhibited surprise, and then contempt. And then lastly, let's talk about happiness. When do we express happiness as an emotion? You know, when you have gained something of value. Remember, happiness is like the opposite of sadness. So when you lost something of value, you're going to tilt towards the sadness emotional expression. But when you have gained something of value, you're going to have or you're going to express the happiness emotions. And you know, when you have gotten something so precious to you, something that you've desired for a long time, you're going to definitely enjoy or experience the emotions of happiness. All right, so I want to just conclude by saying emotions are, are, are part of humans. And when you look back, don't be angry at yourself. Just know that, oh, I'm just a human trying to express, you know, emotions at a situation that I've faced myself. Some might be good, you know, and some might turn to be hurtful. But one thing I want to leave you with as we dive into the next episode or the video that you'll be watching next, we're going to see the usefulness or the purpose of all these emotions in our daily activities. As we relate with people, we are bound to exhibit all these emotions. We're going to look at the benefits of it, and then we're going to look at how, when they become extreme, you know, the adverse effect is bring the benefits and then the advantages of all these emotions. For now, these are the basic 7 human emotions, you know, that we have. And don't forget, these emotions can elicit more emotions. When you combine them together, they are bound to produce different emotions. So see you in the next video as we dive into understanding the benefit and then the sad effect or the demerit of, you know, displaying or exhibiting each of these emotions at a time. Bye.